All you young ones don't understand. We're playing chess or checkers with the man. And politicians will put you in the jail. You'll learn how it's good to be too big to fail. No, they'll get you out on the playing field, just like you're a rook or a peasant on the game field. Just like you're a rook or a peasant on the game field. For all those who don't understand, when you're playing checkers or chess with the man, you're rocked up, punked up, jacked up, shacked up, cracked up, banged up, racked up. For all those that don't understand, when you're playing checkers or you're playing chess with a man, politicians put you out on the street. They'll make it so easy to defeat. You know, being a rook, you're a peasant on the game field. Know that you're a rook or you're a peasant on the game field. You'll be racked up, shacked up, dumped out, cracked up, punked out, locked out, ranked out. Don't you know you don't understand? You're playing chess or you're playing checkers with the man. So easily defeated that you don't even know that you're already bleeding. For all you young ones don't understand, when you're playing chess or playing checkers with the man, be locked out, punked out, rocked out, gagged out, lacked up, knocked out, outweighed, outplayed, outplayed again and again. For all the young ones that don't understand, it's been a takeover by the man. We're playing chess, playing checkers, you understand? Cause now you've been outplayed by the man. You've been racked out, bumped out, fucked out, cracked out, whacked out, locked out, weighed out, knocked out now. You understand that now? For all you young ones that don't understand, you just been outplayed by the man. Punked out, racked out, junked out, locked out, cracked out, dumped out, backed out, rocked out. And all those young ones that don't understand, you never ever did really have a plan. Cause if it's out on the protest, out on the no test, then you'll get the low test. Low test. All you young'uns don't understand, you've been played out by the man. When you're playing chess or checkers, did you understand? You've been outplayed by the man. You've been rocked out, cracked out, punked out, knocked out, rocked out, locked out, locked out, bumped out now. You understand that now? For all those young ones that don't understand, of course that the street don't make you the man. They'll put you back out in jail. You'll learn how it is to be too big to fail. Too big to fail. You did not understand. You've been outplayed, faded, outplayed, jaded, outplayed, faded, and outplayed, waited by the man. By the man. For all the young ones that don't understand, you've been faded by the man. You've been outplayed, outweighed, outcrazed, outfaded, outraged now. This is Family Like the Ghost, and this is our continuing series of song deconstructions. We also talked to indie artists from around the world, and we had talked to Kendra Erica last week, and we're due to talk to Christina Passion this week. And this particular episode, we're going to talk about a Family Electric Ghost song, and one of the songs where Josephine Electric is not the lead singer. This is the song called Outplayed by The Man, which we put out back in 2016. And we actually got on Ava Live Radio and we did an interview on it. And we had an interview in a magazine that they pushed us into. And that was pretty cool. But we're still really, into this track. And like I said, it's one of the tracks where Josephine isn't the lead. The Phantom is actually the lead. And this is one of our, I think it's one of our more funky tracks. It has a pretty good bass line. I think it's very accessible, but there's a lot of things actually going on in the song in terms of the content. I'm actually criticizing, what's going on politically and saying that young folks are being outmaneuvered by kind of more crafty politicians who have manipulated the system to be stacked in the favor of their what they want to do rather than what the youth wants to do. And so the whole concept of the man going back to the 60s, is that the power structure is outsmarting the young folks and the kids are playing checkers when they should be playing chess, which is something my father, who passed away from Alzheimer's, used to talk about all the time. He's like, you're playing checkers when you should be playing chess. So it kind of refers to your thinking is not actually strategic enough for the situation you're in. You have to understand where you are. And so this particular song is using something that we like to do, which is record with hardware synths. And this particular track, we didn't use a digital audio workstation. We recorded directly from our synths, our Roland Juno GI. And we used an Arturia BeatStep Pro sequencer. And the drum track is coming from a Roland JDXI, which has multiple drum machines in it. But the BeatStep Pro from Arturia provides the ability to chain the rhythms outside of the 4-part pattern that's native to the JDXI. So what that does in English, it lets you do a very a more complicated beat by chaining patterns together. So you could have a pattern that maybe has 16 steps, but you could chain maybe 8 to 16 patterns together and have that actually represent a song. And because the BeatStep Pro is right in front of me in the workflow, I can kick it off. I can kick off different patterns. I can run things reverse. I can hold. I can solo. I can do a lot of things that make the feel of a real drummer. In this song, we initially put, the beat down, and then we added the bass line, and then we added the phantom vocal. And it's probably, one of the stronger songs in our catalog. And we've always used it to kind of push different efforts in terms of contests and different things, because we feel it's one of the stronger Phantom Ghost songs. And it just the whole idea is sometimes people are taken aback by the Josephine Electric voice that we have. And in the same way that, Josephine Electric has allowed us to move in our presence on SoundCloud from 1,800 followers to 75,000 listens, there still is somewhat, difficult when you play a show or you go somewhere and you're initially the ghost. Having that female voice sometimes can actually be detrimental to your success. However, we have felt very strong about Josephine Electric, and we still have 95% of Family Electric Ghost songs are Josephine, and then, the Phantom, and then Stephanie. And so, like I said, this whole band is a collection of made-up characters, which happens to be, the Family Electric Ghost is a band kind of like the Gorillaz. It's an idea. It's a fictional band, and all the characters are me. And kind of like Damon Albarn created 2D and in the Gorillas and has all these different characters, but sometimes they're voiced by different people. I voice all my characters using Roland voiceoder technology. In particular, for this album, this record, we used the JDXI native voiceoder. Later on, we did use the VTO3 from Roland, which is the vocal transformer. And now they've actually come out with a VTO4, which has even more capability. And so we're looking at doing that. So because going forward, we actually have a Josephine Electric anchor site. And we wanted to be in character and actually interview for other bands as Josephine. And so we try to do it with the VTO3, but we feel that the VT4 looks like it will work with social media platforms like Facebook and Anchor in a better way because it's got the pure USB audio. So we're going to see if that works. We're going to get that and try it in the next couple months or maybe starting in 2019. But this song, again, is a Phantom song, which in the catalog you can count on maybe two hands out of my 1,500 songs how many songs the Phantom actually sings. We actually were thinking about putting an album together just as Phantom vocals just to see the reaction. And then, sometimes when we play songs live, we do Phantom and Josephine side by side or on top of each other. We tend to, try to have both vocals happening by doing, the vocal transformer allows you to change a pitch kind of at will. And so a lot of things we do ends up, having the Phantom be there more than what you probably hear on our social media. But we're very happy that Stephanie and Josephine have been received pretty well on a lot of cases. But this particular song had kind of a Dylan-esque feel, and we felt that we kind of needed the Phantom's voice for it, and that we're taking on a kind of a political issue in terms of the thing I was talking about with the man and the playing chess or playing checkers. And so sometimes Josephine is more singing about social issues that have to deal with, like sex and romance and, desolation and, depression and all kinds of issues like that. And the Phantom tends to take on the social macrocosm issues of politics. And so we leave the Phantom to do that. So, yeah, we're really happy about the reception we've had to the Ghost overall. We got over 1,300 listens on Anchor. We're steadily getting really good people to interview. People are in a pretty high tier with Christina Passion and Kendra Black and Kendra Erica. So we're moving forward with a lot of cool projects. We're talking about collaborating with Stefan Kidd, who's a local New Hampshire musician. We're hoping to do a pretty cool electronica EDM collaboration with him. And we're looking forward, as I said, potentially what we're going to be able to introduce on that collaboration is the Teenage Engineering OPZ, which we have on order. And we're going to do a whole product reveal on that. And maybe we'll talk about, how we actually intend to incorporate that into our workflow. There's a little micro workstation that has a very unique way of creating music. And we think that it would be really cool for the hip hop and EDM genres to have this tool. And then the other thing we want to go forward on in terms of performance is the Roland Axe Edge, which brings the keytar back to the keyboardist. And I think I talked about this a bunch of times, but if you're a keyboardist and you're behind the stack of keyboards, and there's famous people like Keith Emerson that were able to, really shine in front of that stack of keyboards. But the keytar allows you to connect with your audience like a guitarist. And we feel that the new Roland Axe Edge has, a lot of capability. Some people complaining that it's plastic, but if you're going to wear something on stage for 2 hours, you don't want it to be some heavy metal piece of equipment because, as you get older, you tend to hurt your back. And so having something that's a little lighter weight is not a bad idea. And this machine has a lot of capability compared to the old Axe. It has an awesome sound engine that can be actually manipulated by Bluetooth on your phone, on your iPhone. You can get into the sound engine and manipulate the LFOs, the low frequency oscillators. You can actually have a 4-part complicated pad that takes multiple tones and puts them on top of each other with all kinds of envelope and LFO and oscillator manipulation, allowing you to make very fat sounds. And it's analog behavioral modeling, which, if anybody knows what that is, like Roland has reproduced the sound of the Jupiter 8 and the 106 and a lot of their classic synths from back in the day through this technology. And it appears on the System 8, and it's also in this machine. And so it allows you to have very powerful analog sounds with a digital structure. It allows you to save the patch, allows you to work on it. And it's probably not at the level of a Moog 1 or the level of a Prophet 6 or an Oberheim, but it's going to sound pretty good for, most people's ears. And it depends on how you play it. You can take a Casio and play it to a degree that would make somebody not care it's a Casio. So it kind of all goes back to playing the instrument. You can see Jack White, he plays like $100, $50 guitars in front of thousands of people, and he kicks ass pretty much. So it really doesn't have to be a Cadillac instrument to actually do the job. It's the musician behind the instrument that kind of do the job. And that kind of goes toward the last bit that we'll talk about today is, musicians, I think, have a lot of tools. And for a lot of years, there's a move to have people who aren't musicians become musicians. And by default, once you start really getting into music, you're working on that DAW and you do a lot of work and you build an album, you build a song, you get hit, you have become a musician. However, there are still keyboardists, bassists, guitar players, classical musicians, jazz musicians that actually play the instruments. And there's always going to be a place for those people. And in the electronic music area, there's been the resurgence of the classic companies of Sequential Circuits actually has their name back from Yamaha. Moog is running super strong with all the things they've done, and from bringing back the Model D Mini Moog to bringing the Moog 1 polyphonic synthesizer, which is the actual realization of what the Memory Moog and the Poly Moog were. Everybody knows what those are. It was a really big issue. It's a big deal. For Moog to actually get back in the polyphonic business, we haven't seen something like that since the Poly Moog. And the Poly Moog was used by Prince. It was used by Newman on cars. It was used by Kraftwerk. It's a classic machine. The Memory Moog never got realized at the level of a Jupiter 8 or a Juno 106. But for the bands that did use it, it is phenomenal. And to have Moog back in that area, making a full polyphonic synth, which if you don't know what polyphonic is, a Moog naturally is monophonic, which means you can only play one note at a time, which some people might not realize. And Stevie Wonder used to play one note at a time and build chords. Keith Emerson used to build one note at a time and build chords. And it was a painstaking process. The Prophet 5 kind of changed all that. The Jupiter 8 changed all that when you could actually do two-handed chords and have a full polyphony. And the sounds of those instruments are kind of representative of the new wave. And so that, there's a resurgence in electronic music that goes back to the new wave. And these instruments are critical because if you're a songwriter, playing on a soft synth or creating something in a DAW is cool. But what really creates a song is similar to what a guitar player does. It's the choice of chords that you do when you write a song on an acoustic guitar. It's the choice of chords when you write on a piano. A polyphonic synth gives you the ability to write like you're writing on a Steinway, or you're writing on a nice Yamaha piano, or Rhodes Electric. You can do full chords and all the voicings of complicated chord arrangements that really build the character of a song. And in my opinion, having a polyphonic synth is a really awesome capability for a songwriter. I know that you can get around those things. There's machines like the OPZ I just talked about, and OP1, and DAWs that allow people to do recording at that level. So that's kind of where we are today. That we've got these companies back to life, and a lot of cool music being done because of that. As always, we're fan supported, so you can subscribe to our podcast to kind of help us keep on interviewing folks and talking about music overall. And we hope you have a good night. And I'm going to put this out there. And if you want to send us a little voice memo and talk about what you're interested in and what bands you'd like us to interview, or bands that would want to get interviewed, you can contact me by favorite thing, Phantom Electric Ghost. It makes it easier to connect and send a voice memo. Thank you.